So guys, Selva Azteca is finally back on my channel. It's been about a month since the last episode, and yeah, me and Theme Park LB, we have been quite busy. We were busy with the Digital Dance Home Island Challenge for the past 2 to 3 weeks. So that's what we have been working on, and we came second in that challenge, which is absolutely amazing, so I'm very happy with that. But we are back with Selva Azteca. There was a video on Theme Park LB's channel fairly recently, so yeah, that was part 17. If you haven't already seen it, go and check that out. But yeah, part 18, here we go. This jungle area is starting to come together quite nicely, and I'm making a little seating area which is at the side of the river, and this will come away from the station area of the ride, which is still part of that Tenochtitlan themed area. But we won't be working on that themed area in this video at all. We'll be building the trench that the launch goes through, and we'll be doing some general improvements to the scenery, just placing some rocks, and then we will begin work on a restaurant, but we do not finish that in this episode, so I imagine I will finish that next time we have Selva Azteca on my channel. But yeah, you can see this seating area here with some awning to prevent falling items from hitting guests, and there is also this in-game viewpoint item, and that makes real guests come to it to see what there is. So from that seating area there'll be a great view of the jungle, the launch which will sort of float over the grey crunch, so you'll be able to get some brilliant views of the coaster, and you'll get a huge glimpse of that top hat, and that's going to be an amazing place to sit. So I thought that would be a brilliant place to have a packed lunch or something, so I put that viewpoint in to make guests actually walk there. But because they're not really a thing in real life, I decided just to cover it up with a green bin. But that was quite a while back now. That happened fairly quickly, and we are now, well, the time lapse is now ahead of me. But yeah, we are putting lots of scenery, grass, using some of the bushes, tropical items a lot, and here is some more tropical rock work just to make the ride POV look a lot more better. That's not good grammar at all. But yes, now we are starting the trench, and you can see me just starting off with digging out some of the ground so that I've got a decent space to build in. But you do see these trenches quite a lot on roller coasters. I've got quite a few examples, especially launch coasters, which do have trenches like these. Cheetah Hunt was probably my main inspiration for this entire ride, to be honest. It gave me the idea for that floating airtime hill that comes just out of the launch. The first launch, of course, is very slow, similar to Cheetah Hunt. Cheetah Hunt then has this huge trench. I think it's got multiple trenches actually, and I think they look really cool. You can use wooden beams going across the top of them, and I don't know what that's for, but it just looks good. It provides some head choppers for guests, so that's brilliant for that. But yeah, there's some temple rocks going in to get the sloping thing, so it looks like, you know, the track's going closer to the ground. And then I use the walls, the actual temple walls, which are on a grid because it makes it easier to build and keep it upright, but it wasn't suitable to use, you know, grid pieces to make the floor, since the ride is on a, well, the launch is on a slant, and pretty much all roller coaster launches are on a slight slant. They go slightly uphill so that the ride gets a bit more gravitational potential energy, and of course it gets the speed from the launch as well, so that's a fun fact there. It's ever so slightly going uphill. You can see this for yourself at theme parks. If you walk up close to the launch and then look along it, you can see that it does ever so slightly go uphill. But now you can see me placing these cross beams that go across above the launch track, and I also paused the train there because I don't want any literal head choppers. I've used that joke way too many times. But yeah, there's just some random bits of scenery from the Adventure DLC, just adds a bit of detail, makes it more nice to look at when you're going along the launch track. And then obviously there's some mist here as well, so it will be very entertaining going down at launch. I think it'll be one of the best parts of the ride probably, and I can imagine it at night as well. It's all dark and then you suddenly go in this tunnel with lots of mist and some red lights so you can't fully see stuff, and then at the end of this launch we will have a camera point, so that'll almost blind you, and it'll be a total sensory overload on that second launch, which will be amazing. Actually, no, it's the third launch. I keep getting confused, I might have already said that before. But the first launch, of course, is rolling out the station. The second launch is this one here, which goes through this archway, which I took inspiration from Cheetah Hunt to do this, because Cheetah Hunt's second launch has an arch at the start of it as well. But yeah, the launch with the tunnel, the one that goes down the trench, that is the third launch, just to clarify. I might have been saying that wrong. But yeah, it's just some scenery here, some bushes, some trees and some fences. This would be a little bit of a catwalk type area. Obviously there's one on the side of the track for the second launch, but the third launch, because of the place it is in the trench, having a catwalk there would probably take away from the experience. So but yeah, I've got some fences to stop potential, to stop guest walkers from falling into there, and that's never going to be a good thing, is it? And yeah, now vines and some more decoration, make it feel a bit more like a jungle, to remind you that you are in a jungle despite the fact that there are buildings, so that it feels overgrown. And now a jump in the time lapse. We are moving on to build this bridge, which the ride will come very close to the water and it'll swoop underneath that bridge. And this, of course, is also the bridge to this separate island, and I will build the restaurant on this island. But like I said at the start of the video, that won't be this episode. I make a decent start for it, I get all the foundations and I plan out what's going to be happening, but I don't really get into much detail on it. It's a massive project and it would probably take me a full episode to build it, but because I've already done all the stuff in the episode, then it'll carry over to the next episode next time this series is on my channel. But yeah, I'm going for a classic wooden bridge using lots of beams and planks to make it have a temporary feel, and it fits that type of jungle, but it is a very generic bridge. You could probably see this in a Viking theme if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm trying to make it seem like the ride has crashed through and broken up the bridge. I don't think it had the effect that I was going for. I may change it a little bit later, but you can sort of see that it has been altered because of the fact that the ride's come through. And then of course just putting some more mist, and that covers for the fact that there's not loads of detail under the bridge, because it is quite hard to build in those places. So I didn't put loads of detail in, so I decided to put the mist to cover the fact that there wasn't much detail. And yeah, now the restaurant, this is the actual building. You can see how it is risen slightly, and with it being in a jungle, the ground's obviously very wet a lot of the time. There's lots of groundwater, so I decided to have it on stilts, because that's realistically what you would see. So it is slightly raised, and it does go over the water slightly as well. So I think that'll be quite cool on the boat to come around the corner and see a big building. And yeah, there's a separate section of path in here. This will be an outdoor seating area which will be just beside the river, and I think that'll be quite nice. And yeah, I'm just making a couple of alterations to the boat ride there to make sure that it doesn't come too close to the land. And now some water effects. I thought it'd be really cool as the ride comes sweeping low to the water to have some triggered splashes that come as the ride comes round, and I think that looks really nice. You can see me making a little area there that was very short, but next time we have it on our channel, I will be making a little adventure play park for the children to, whilst they're just waiting for dinner. It's something that you see at restaurants, and we've not got a playground already, and probably all theme parks do have them, whether it's small or not. But yeah, I do see them. Maybe not all theme parks, but they are there at a lot of theme parks. Now I'm using these beams, preparing to put the roofing on. Add some detail to the buildings, and also some realism, because they've got to support it somehow. Yeah, now some of these wooden walls just going in. Obviously it is on stilts, but I decided to have the bit where the paths come in to be on the ground, because I think having that gap between the ground and the building looked a little bit odd. So for the first, for the front view, I decided not to do that. Yeah, now some roofs. I'm using the exact same style of roofing that we've used for this whole park. I've got to have that consistency, so you know it feels like it's the same park. I don't want it to change a lot. And yeah, this isn't heavily themed, this park really. There are some themed areas, for example Vulcan, that is very themed. It's got a whole storyline, even a pre-show. Speaking of that, there should be a cinematic for Vulcan out fairly soon, probably within the next week or two. That will be on my channel, so stay tuned for that. That will have the full walkthrough of the ride, including the pre-show and obviously the POV. And yeah, now I'm just putting some beams in, but I don't really add a lot more detail to this building, but of course, you know, I'm trying to make it quite complex with lots of areas. It is a big restaurant. You see I put 2 of the restaurant pieces in so that it can hold a lot of people. There's also toilets in here. Theme Park LB mentioned last time in his episode that we don't really have any toilets at all in this park, and that's something we do need to focus on, so I thought it would be a good idea to put some toilets inside this restaurant. But yeah, there's not really much else going on inside this time lapse. Now I'm literally just finishing off the infrastructure for this building before we can start doing the detail. So yeah, it's just more of the same to see now. But I can talk about this series as a whole. We are getting fairly close to the end. This is the second to last area, and we have decided we will be building a B&M sit down, you know, a classic one. It would be like the first big project that the park ever had. Something a bit like Cumber at Busch Gardens Tampa, you know, that large scale B&M. So maybe it could be a little bit rough, but that's the feel that we would be going for that ride. So in the next probably 3 to 4 episodes that will have started, and we'll be well underway to finishing this whole park, which is quite crazy because it has gone so quickly. I can't believe we're at part 18 already. But yeah, we're at the end of the video now, and I hope you're all as happy as I am that Selva Azteca is back. And yeah, like I said, Vulcan Cinematic will be soon on my channel, but remember to check out Theme Park LB for part 19. Goodbye everybody.